The meeting recording has begun. Okay, I'm going to unmute the panelist mics now. You're all unmuted. You can mute as you would like. It's 7 o'clock, Mayor.
Thank you, Bernie. It is 7 o'clock and time to call the meeting to order. Bernie, could you please do a roll call for us?
Yes. Bonnie?
Present.
Don?
Present.
Ellen?
Here.
Greg?
Here.
Shannon?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
And Melissa is not with us yet.
All right. This meeting is a little bit different. In the city, we're committed to following the social distancing order, and for that reason, we are meeting today remotely. And the public comments will be a little different as well, with people calling in. So it is time for public comments. If anyone would like to address the council, please indicate that you would like to speak by raising your virtual hand on the app or your phone and wait for the clerk to activate your sound. Please start by saying your name and address for the record. You will have up to 3 minutes to speak. And Bernie, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay. We have Kim Logan. And are you there, Kim?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I don't have a lot to say. Can I talk now?
Yes, go ahead and state your name and address for the record.
Kimball Logan, 9513 Southeast 14th Street, Vancouver, Washington. And from my reading of the agenda for tonight, I just like to voice on behalf of the Mills family and myself that I think it's a wonderful thing that the city is doing. And if they go forward with it, and we are in full support of it, and think it's a great milestone for the city to accomplish what they are. Stop.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next one, it looks like it is Evangeline. Is that correct?
Actually, it would be Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
We started here.
It is Wayne Pattison.
Okay, and your address for the record?
2919 Southeast 2nd Avenue, Camas.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to give a little bit of a senior update. It doesn't have anything to do in some ways with your agenda, but with this COVID situation you're dealing with, I wanted you to know that we had called 127 of our members in the Camas Washougal Senior Association and checked on them. Out of that group, fortunately, none of them had what I'm going to call sickness. Now, that doesn't include their normal issues, but nobody had colds, flus, or viruses. So they've all been taking care of themselves, following the distancing and staying home. And then in the processes of that, Natalia's had gotten some pretty decent donations to deliver meals to seniors. If we could come up with a list. And out of the 127, we got 47 orders for breakfast or lunch to be delivered. And Natalia's was working on that today. I don't know that they finished that today, but I've been working on that. So I want to thank Natalia's Restaurant, Erica and Wendy and Lynn Foster for getting that going. We're taking care of our seniors. I think that's probably the key to all of that. And then, of course, we'd like to see things get back to somewhat normal, whatever normal is. Last I knew, that was a setting on a washing machine, but people keep saying they want to get back to normal. So hopefully we're moving in that direction. I've heard some folks talking in town about canceling the Camas Farmers Market, and I'd like to, from my perspective, say we don't need to do that yet. There's lots of ways of running a farmer's market, and there's some in Oregon and California doing it. It can certainly be done with proper physical distancing. So I would encourage, and I don't know that you all have anything to do with that, but I'd encourage us to encourage our city economics and not let the whole community fail on us. So hopefully folks will remember what physical distancing is about. There's no safety in the clusters of people, but the issue is congregating. Other than that, if we keep our physical distancing, we should do fine. And that's my comment for tonight. Thank you all for what you're doing.
Thank you very much for that update, Wayne, and thanks for everything that you're doing as well. And I did not know that's great with Natalia, so thank you for sharing.
Okay, so we have Phil Williams. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Before the time starts, can I just ask, has the recording functionality of Zoom been disabled for the participants here to individually record?
I believe so. I could check with our IT director real quick. We'll have the recording up on our website when it's over.
Sure, but for individual members of the community to be able to record from their instance of the program?
Yeah, I'll ask our IT staff.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm ready to begin comment if you wanted to start the timer.
All right, thank you.
All right, Phil Williams, 936 Northeast 41st. So the Surgeon General of the United States said recently that this week we're currently entering is, quote, going to be our Pearl Harbor, our 9/11 moment, only it's going to be localized. It's going to be happening all over the country, and I want America to understand that. He finished, this is going to be the hardest and saddest week of most Americans' lives, quite frankly. I wonder what will Camas be doing with its time and money during that historically devastating moment. So as of now, it seems that this council will soon discuss finalizing the purchase of nearly $20 million in land after just attempting to move forward with a roundabout at an $8 million total cost. Former Mayor Scott Higgins said at the 2017 State of the Community meeting that we were working to acquire almost 100 acres north of the lake that will eventually make it that there is an entire green space around the entirety of the lake. It sounds nice for a normal day. He showed a slide in that presentation that stated that the entire project would come in at a $4.8 million cost, with Camas only paying half of that. He still called the project cost very expensive at a $2.2 million obligation for the city. Tonight, our council's agenda has them discussing nearly $20 million. $20 million we will borrow to pay for just 2 parcels of land within that larger area. One of the properties inexplicably jumped in assessed value from 1.6 million in 2018 to 8.2 million in 2019, right before the city would make its offer to purchase. with questions clearly in need of answers. I don't come here today in front of my neighbors to ask this council and this mayor if these purchases are valid. I'm here today to ask how we can possibly consider them now and in this reality. As of yesterday, the United States has 330,891 diagnosed cases of this virus, up 26,000 people from the day before it. What are we doing here? Nothing on this agenda discusses specific solutions for failing non-essential businesses or plans to feed the hungry, to treat the sick, or to console the families of the dead and the dying to come by the Surgeon General's somber warning. In advance of Council's coming discussion on land acquisition, where I expect to hear, we've already come this far, we must continue, I'd like to say, please stop. Stop hiding behind the constructed inevitability argument. I can't actually remember a project in Camas that didn't come with that built in. It didn't work for the pool bond, it doesn't work for the paused roundabout, and it shouldn't work for this land acquisition during a devastating and uncertain moment in Camas and the larger world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Philip, for sharing your perspective.
Okay, and we have John. Okay, John, Nor, can you hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I go ahead and start?
Yes, go ahead.
Mayor McDonnell, members of council, thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight during these unprecedented times. I've lived here for over 30 years. I've watched our city council provide the leadership necessary to move this community forward as we have grown through the years. The progress and the progressiveness of our community has been truly amazing. I have so much appreciation for our city. I appreciate the police officers who patrol our streets and ensure that our community is safe from crime. I appreciate our firefighters and paramedics who are on duty and ready to respond to fires, vehicle crashes, and medical emergencies on a moment's notice, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I especially appreciate them now during the time of COVID-19. They are putting their own lives at additional risk to treat and transport any of our neighbors that may be stricken with new and deadly viruses. I appreciate our parks and open spaces where our children can play and our neighbors can meet for a concert, a neighborhood picnic, or a walk along the lake. I appreciate our library. My children and I have spent hundreds of hours perusing the library over the years, whether it was research for a term paper or reading just to satisfy our curiosity. I appreciate our roads and the ability to get around town. I appreciate that I have clean, safe drinking water at my fingertips and a toilet that can always be flushed. I appreciate so many things about our wonderful hometown. But right now, what I appreciate most is you, the city members of our city council. I appreciate that you devote numerous hours per month to attend untold numbers of meetings so that you can fully understand the issues at hand. I appreciate that you are available to community members and take the time to listen to everyone and not just those few vocal critics of government. I appreciate that you continue to move this community forward and that you address the business of the city that needs to get done today so that we can continue to enjoy our police officers, firefighters, parks, libraries, roads, water, and the ability to flush our toilets tomorrow. Thank you for serving on City Council, and thank you for your service to our wonderful community. John Knorr, 1710 Northeast Dallas Street.
Thank you, John, for sharing your thoughts.
All right. We have Randall. Randall?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor McDonnell, I wanted to start by recognizing, reading the paper, yet another wonderful and creative use for our library that you've come up with, and just showing that the value of a library to our community is far beyond the books that it holds. Shift to the legacy lands, I support the acquisition to complete legacy lands, but still think the cost is quite high. I wonder if this high cost infers the near inevitability of the city approving urban uses in the North Shore. That's the crux of my public comment. Did city inclusion of those maps essentially validate the real estate market's perceptions of the North Shore's inevitable urbanization? If not, the city needs to publicly say so tonight. If the city supports this inevitability, why are we bothering to have a North Shore planning process? Let's move to the downtown where we can do some good. This is where Camas needs development to preserve the downtown we all cherish and want to support. It can also meet state mandates. If the city maintains you have the full police power over the future use of the North Shore, and the map of the Rose property was purely illustrative, then say so tonight. Say it clearly and unambiguously. Make it clear that all options remain on the table for the North Shore. And then explain why. I hope this happens before you vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Randall. And when we get to that part, Jerry, I think we'll kind of give an overview. But it's the property or getting this purchase is not tied to anything around the North Shore. That answers that
All
question.
right. And we have Justin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Hi, Justin Lyons, 1323 Northwest 28th Ave. First off, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council members, for making the meeting available to us, given everything going on. Secondly, I just want to voice my support in the city's acquisition of this land. I'm a big proponent of public lands being available to the citizens and for our use. I feel like it's a good investment in our community and our future. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay. And we have, it's Alcatel. The description is Alcatel 3V. Who had their hand raised?
Yes, my name is Samantha Connolly. I live at 230 Northwest 12th Avenue.
Okay.
Hello, yes. As a parent in the city of Camas, my concern is that because my child, he goes to a school in Portland because of some disciplinary issues with attending schools in Camas. They couldn't handle him. So he was expelled and sent to a school in Portland. And there's a lot of miscommunication because Washington governor is saying that all schools are closed for the rest of the year, that we're doing distance learning. Whereas we have not heard from the governor of Oregon for 6 days. So my concern is, what's going to happen to my son? Is he going to be on distance learning for the rest of the year, or is he going to be going back to school? So that's one concern I have that I was wondering if you guys have any answers for. And my second comment for the night would be that I just wanted to give praise and thank you for all of the first responders, the EMTs and firefighters in the city of Camas, for all the support and help that they give in helping my father, who is a senior citizen with many, many health concerns. So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Jennifer, could you follow up with that citizen and potentially get them in touch with someone at the school level? Sure. Thank you.
I just want to acknowledge that Melissa, we're glad to see you. Melissa joined the meeting at 7:11 p.m. Okay, and we have another public comment from the last 4 digits of the number are 2098.
Yeah, this is Margaret Tweet, 2715 Northwest 34th Circle in Camas. And I'm concerned about the actions that the council is considering tonight regarding spending millions of dollars on projects that we don't immediately need with money that we don't have. Again, taking out a big loan for a want rather than a need. I'd like to note that some of the needs that citizens continue to see around our area is just the roads, the maintenance of the roads is a concern that I see and hear quite a bit. I think the $8 million for a convoluted roundabout that we don't need to replace a working intersection is not wise, especially considering the serious situations that some Camas residents are now facing. Loss of jobs, business closures, loss of activity and freedom. I wanted to know whether citizens have access to the parks that we have, and so that I do consider bathrooms to be an essential service for our public parks. You know, when you're taking kids to a park, you really have to have access to water and bathrooms to keep hands clean, to, you know, be able to wash hands, which is an important part of this whole antivirus and cleanliness measures that we're all being careful to take. And also just some clarification about the park access. I'm having trouble with access to the city website. So if you could give any kind of clarification to what parks are open in the Camas area, the city parks, that would be helpful. And even the Lacamas Park, what is the current status? The $20 million land grab is not justifiable, especially at this time. Citizens have repeatedly expressed a desire to better maintain the resources we have, the roads we have, the parks we have. We're blessed with bountiful parks and generous open spaces as it is, and there's not an urgent or pressing need to expand city lands at this time. We don't know the economic impact of this national crisis. We don't know what it will be or how long it will last. And that calls for caution, not overspending on unnecessary wants while citizens face difficult measures, meeting basic needs. And I am concerned about the homeless going hungry and what we can do there. Is that a signal telling me the 3 minutes is up?
Yes, Margaret.
All right then, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, for your comments. And then in regards to the parks, Jerry, do you want to give us just a quick update on the parks? Currently, we've closed the.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Currently, all the parks are open for use, for just the open grass areas. We have closed down the bathrooms and the play equipment, sports courts, but the trails and the open grasslands are open, and we have closed parking lots on a couple of our parks.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, another public comment. We have John Lee. John, are you there?
Sorry, I had to click an unmute button. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and City Councilors.
Say
Last
your name
week-
and address for the record, John.
Certainly. John Lee, Ley, 444 Northwest Fremont Street in Camas. Last week, I was praising you for putting the roundabout on hold. I believed you were taking the first prudent step in reducing our city's spending. Today, it appears I was wrong. Tonight, you will be voting to spend $17 million to purchase private property along the north shore of Lacamas Lake. Included will be purchasing one parcel with a promissory note for $7.5 million. This will add $1.6 million to the city's annual expenses. You're not cutting spending, but adding to it. That makes no sense to me. I have learned that the city has already borrowed $10 million to fund the rest of the land purchase. When did the city council vote to approve borrowing such a large sum of money? When did you tell us, the citizens who are obligated to repay that loan, the terms of the loan and seek our approval? Many citizens attended the North Shore December open house held at the Camas High School. We were given a blank slate for where to place single-family homes, where to put businesses, and where to put high-density housing. The largest amount of feedback given that evening was people not wanting to move forward with the North Shore development. Yet it appears there are already neighborhoods being planned or discussed. There are roads already being planned for. Yet none of this was pointed out to the citizens who participated that evening. I now feel like you have a very large and very expensive plan that you're only showing the people small pieces of. I feel like this is a freight train plowing through our community and the people aren't being given the entire picture. And more importantly, the entire cost of the plan. How much will everything you're planning for the North Shore cost us as taxpayers? How much will road improvements cost? How much will sewer and water improvements cost? How much to add another fire station and EMS on the north side? I see nothing that requires spending 17 million taxpayer dollars right now. If I've read the documents correctly, the worst fallout from voting no tonight would be losing $100,000 in earnest money for each parcel, $200,000 total. When tied to the Lake Everett roundabout, we're talking about 25 million taxpayer dollars. In the era of COVID-19, many of our citizens are dealing with zero income right now. Many others face significantly declining incomes. Say no to any and all new spending for the foreseeable future. That is a prudent thing to do. Then you should immediately begin open public discussion about budget cuts. Convince us you can do what every local Camas family is doing right now, cutting their spending. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John, for your comments. Appreciate them.
And we have Mel.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. State your name and address for the record, please. Mel?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can.
Okay, so I am a property owner and a business owner in downtown Camas at 217 Northeast 4th Avenue, Camas, Washington. I don't know if this, I understand by a phone call the other day I made to the city and asked if I could cancel water and garbage services at my business being I'm closed. Every penny is being looked at to keep my business open when I get out of this structure. So I don't know if the city council has already voted on suspending the garbage services. And I know I don't need water services temporarily, but I understand I'm still having to be allowed to pay a monthly fee for not using anything. And I'm just asking the city council to consider any possible COVID-19 relief to any business property owner downtown Camas. Downtown Camas is the heart of our community, in my opinion. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mel. Cathy, I know that this was being discussed as well today. Do you want to, anything you want to explain with that, or the questions in regards to the water payments? You're on mute, I'm sorry.
Sure. We met with Finance Committee today. We are planning on rolling out some utility billing assistance, both for residents as well as for local businesses in our downtown area, as well, and throughout the city, really. And so that should be rolling out in the next week, and we will be sending information out to all utility billing participants.
Thank you, Kathy.
I appreciate it. We'll be notified somehow, some way, through email or phone calls to find out that information.
Correct.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mel.
Okay, we have Douglas. Douglas, are you there? Douglas Strybell? Okay. We'll move on to Timothy.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. This is Tim Hine, 3512 Northwest Logan Court in Camas. I first want to say thank you for the opportunity to attend the meeting in this manner. It's really helpful for continued communication and involvement. I also want to thank the mayor and city council for all the work that you're doing and staff to have these meetings like this and to provide such excellent communication and recorded videos on the website, the most recent being the April 1st finance update, which was very helpful. A few things that I'd like to just point out. One, my wife and I are big supporters of expanding the green space and trail network and the legacy land acquisition north of the lake. Really look at it as phase 2 of just a great jewel in the heart of Camas. When everybody thinks about Camas, the open space, the trails are a significant positive part of that. 25 years ago, there was a lot of vision to create the Heritage Trail and to set aside Lacamas Lake Park. This is really phase 2, and I think that going forward in 25 years from now, people will look back on this time as the same thing of people who had a lot of vision, even during difficult times, to create something special when opportunity presented itself. So thank you. I also would like to point out that in terms of a unifying factor of what it provides to Camas, the trails and open space offer a great deal to our community. Regardless of what you do or how long you've been here, it's a unifying feature for citizens to see each other and interact. So it's got a lot of positives, and I hope that you move forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, and we have Brad.
Yeah, hi, it's Brad Gable, 2294 Northeast 16th Street. And I am a local resident, long time, since 2000. I do want to speak in support of the Legacy North Shore project. I think it's an incredible opportunity. I was so surprised to see the initial news, I believe, on Facebook. I did watch the financial status video with Steve Hogan, and you know, they explained how the funds really can't be used for COVID. I know I heard the other caller comment, but these funds actually being allocated towards parkland, as well as the grant monies that we received. I think it was $2.5 million. And so really there's not going to be any net increase in taxes. But I think that the land north of the lake is special. I think it will add a unique feature of Camas. We're already sort of a destination from folks all around the area, including across the river from Oregon and Portland. And in the long run, I think these types of attractions are just going to enhance our city business community, We've got the wonderful downtown area that's retained, and a lot of economic benefit comes from visitors to our community. And some of those visitors actually ultimately settle here as well. And it's the parklands that's really an attraction. I think it's really going to put us on the map even more, and make Camas a very special place. And in the long run, I think that's going to be very positive to attract businesses and help develop our community economically. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'm just going to give this one more look through here. Okay. We have, hello, Jerry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Jerry Urbano. I live at 1216 Northeast 6th Avenue here in Camas. It's really good to see everybody. You all look well, healthy. I'm here this evening to express my gratitude to the city for what I believe is an investment with our legacy lands. Not only will it increase our property values, it will bring just an enormous value to our city. The green spaces, including all of the trees. I am one of the Camas tree protectors, so I just want to say thank you, because we will be preserving thousands of trees, which will make me very happy, and I know many others. What I see this as, not only as an investment in our properties, but I see this an investment in our emotional, mental, and physical health and well-being. And at this time, I don't know if all of you have been on the trails, but I have, and it's an amazing place, and to see our community coming out and being healthy and, you know, waving at our safe distances, but it's been a godsend. And to increase this this value to our community, it goes beyond saying. So thank you, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Jerry, for sharing your thoughts on that.
Okay. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. Okay. We have Scott. Are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can.
Hi, this is Scott Hogg at 3533 Northwest Norwood here in Camas. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Councilor, staff, and fellow citizens. First, let me thank all of you for a wonderful performance tonight. It's been extremely entertaining. I watch what happens in Camas because I love my home and my neighbors. And I feel that this $20 million land purchase and the $8 million roundabout that preceded it are clearly inappropriate uses of our reserves in this terrible moment. Not 6 months from now or a year from now or 2 years from now, but right now. To my neighbors, I say, how can we do this now? And to the council and to the mayor, I say, I need better leadership from all of you at this moment. Please disregard your previous plans, fortify the reserves we have against this attack, and help us to survive with more healthy Camas citizens than acres of owned city property. I do have one question though, and I know it won't get answered, but I can ask it at least. And that is, why is the 50-acre property that Camas city councilors are attempting to convince taxpayers is an essential $12 million purchase tonight, only on the tax rolls for an appraised value of $1.6 million just 2 years ago? I hope somebody will be able to cover that tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott, for your thoughts and questions. I don't know. Jerry, do you have an answer for that, or I generally don't. I'm not sure if I had any details for it.
Are you ready for another comment, Mayor?
We can. Yep. We'll post an answer for that one as well.
Okay, Heather. Heather, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Everybody's asking that. I feel like we're in a cell phone commercial. My name's Heather Kesmodal. My address is 1506 Northeast 6th Avenue, here near the downtown Camas area. First of all, I just want to say welcome to 2020. Doing this meeting is like blowing my mind. I just sauteed onions and have listened, and I'm really impressed, want to say too, with balance and our citizens speaking kindly no matter what side or thoughts or where you're at currently right now. I think it's amazing, the respect and the dialogue, kind of one-sided during the public speaking, but I like it. And I just wanted to speak about the legacy lands. And really, I'm looking forward to listening tonight to uncover some more intel on some of the details that maybe I'm not aware of, but I will say, I hear what citizens are saying about now. I really think looking at that North Shore is about looking at our future. And sometimes those things that unfold in the timetable aren't necessarily ideal as we all would like to see, but I really believe in preserving what we have, and even more so now realizing that Mother Earth has had a second to breathe, how important those trees, that land is to the kids that are currently in our community and those growing up here and those that will come here. So I wanted to speak and say I'm excited and like the idea of us, continuing to preserve that. And I just wanted to thank the council too for, lots of communication out there. Definitely we're in some really unknown waters right now, and just the communication. I don't know if it's because we all said we need to hear you, but all of the communication, the videos, the dialogue, the back and forth. Thank you so much as a citizen. I really appreciate the transparency.
Thank you very much, Heather.
Okay. Heidi?
Yes, I'm here. This is Heidi Echeverrio, 126 Northeast 15th Avenue, Camas. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to real quickly address the mayor, council, other city officials, and citizens. I wanted to show my appreciation and gratitude for Mayor McDonnell and the council members for doing an amazing job. We're all going through a pretty difficult and stressful time right now in our lives. And I just really appreciate everything that you are all doing to keep us informed as citizens. And even just having this Zoom city council meeting tonight that we could all partake in and listen to and understand what's happening in our city is wonderful. Thank you for all that you do. I also would like to say that I do support the legacy lands and the acquisition of the properties. However, with that being said, I really appreciate all of the comments tonight, and I feel that I'm becoming better informed.
Heidi, we're losing you.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I just feel like I appreciate all the comments tonight. I'm feeling much more informed on what's happening with the legacy lands, and I'm looking forward to hearing and understanding more about it. I appreciate everyone's thoughts and opinions, and that everyone is being respectfully heard. And that's it. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Heidi.
Okay. Going through here. We have 58 different attendees I'm scrolling through. Okay, Alicia.
Hi there.
Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Great. I am at 3457 Endicott Street in Camas. And I feel like I'm piggybacking on a lot of comments here, but I also want to say thank you for the virtual option. It's been talked about before at meetings and didn't seem to be possible. And I guess if we can find a silver lining in things, this is one. You know, a lot of people travel for work or have kids at home and haven't been able to attend these meetings, and they're very important. And I know you can read notes after the fact, but being able to participate and hear live what's going on is so important for our community, and it adds to this communication we talk about. So thank you, kudos, it's awesome. I'm so excited. I do travel for work, and I'm hoping going forward that this will be an option. I'm also proud to say that I am a member of the Camas Tree Protectors, and piggybacking on Jerry and Heather, these sea lands are super important. And I do also understand the timing right now is interesting and odd, and maybe it doesn't all fit together exactly as it should, but sometimes a lot of things don't go together exactly when they should. But it's sometimes you have to find opportunities and take the opportunities to protect what we have for the now and the future. So I love that you're looking at this. I am here to learn more as well. So thank you. And I know you guys are very busy, but I did send a letter to all of you regarding the Urban Forestry Commission to get started here in Camas. And as soon as we can circle back to that in the future, I'm excited about what that can bring for the legacy lands in our city. So thank you, and take care, all of you. Thank you again for everything.
Thank you, Alicia.
Okay, thank you. That was Alicia King. Thank you very much. And then we have okay, Diana.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and city councilors, and staff, and fellow citizens. My name is Diana Hogg, and I live at Norwood Street in Camas. I watch what happens in Camas because I love my home and my neighbors. I feel like this $20 million land purchase and the $8 million roundabout that preceded it are inappropriate uses of our reserves in this terrible time. To my neighbors, I say, how can we do this now while so many are suffering? And to the council and the mayor, I say, I need better leadership from you now in this terrible moment. Please disregard your previous plans, fortify the reserves we have against this attack to help us survive and have more healthy citizens in Camas rather than acres of owned city property. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Okay, that appears to be all the public comment. At this time, I'll let you know, Mayor, that we have received 4 emails to public comments at cityofcamas.us, and those are being forwarded to Mayor and Council as well as added to the meeting record.
Thank you, Bernie. So we're moving on to the consent agenda. Our first item is the consent agenda. What would council like to do with the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Carter and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussions? And I'm going to go through each council member. Councilmember Hogan.
Aye.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Any discussion or any comments? Councilmember Roberts.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith, and again, I'm just asking for any comments, I think, on the consent agenda.
No, Mayor.
Councilmember Burton.
My questions were all answered satisfactorily by staff. No other comments.
Wonderful. Councilmember Chaney.
No comments, thank you.
Councilmember Anderson?
No comments or questions, thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. So now moving on to the meeting items. The first item is the proclamation of civil emergency for COVID-19. Jennifer, would you please tell us about this?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you this evening is the formal ratification of the proclamation of civil emergency, which was signed and enacted by the mayor on March 18th. Ratification by council is outlined in the Camas Municipal Code. Staff would recommend that council ratify the proclamation. If there's any comments or questions, now would be the time.
So we'll go around again. Councilmember Hogan, any questions, concerns?
No.
Councilmember Carter?
I will leave it up to Mr. Chaney to make comment.
Councilmember Roberts?
No comments.
Councilmember Smith?
No comments.
Councilmember Burton?
I will reserve my time with Mr. Chaney to make comment.
All right, Councilmember Chaney.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I would like to propose some clarifications in the proclamation so that there's some understanding about a couple of the topics. The first is as to when does the council review the proclamation as emergency conditions evolve over this time. I would propose to have the council on each this issue on the council agenda each meeting going forward. My second issue regarding the staff authority to enter into contracts up to $25,000. I think the amount is fine, but I would ask that there be a consultation or communication with the city finance director for those contracts or expenditures as needed.
Got it. So one is just ensuring that we bring this to the council each time to make sure to make any changes as necessary. And the second was you said consulting with Cathy and any or with our finance director on any of the under $25,000 expenses that would go into the COVID.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. You know, and the emphasis really is on the changing conditions of these events are sometimes predictable. And so I just, in the ordinance, it requires that each proclamation be ratified by council. If we do this on a repeating and ongoing basis through the event until the thing is completely terminated, I think it would be an efficient way to process those changes or needs that you may deem or council may come up with as an example.
Got it. Are there any motions?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, unless there are other, I'll make the motion and then they can make comment.
All right.
I move to ratify the proclamation of civil emergency for COVID-19 signed by the mayor on March 18th, 2020 with the following modifications. The ratification of the proclamation be brought back to council at each subsequent meeting until the proclamation is lifted, and that for the contract purchase authority in section 5 that staff also consult with the finance director prior to proceeding.
And Don, just for clarification, is it anything that you're saying under 25,000, or is there a, you know, is it something that's $100 that should be approved? Is there a minimum and maximum, I guess, within that range?
No, that's a fair question, Mr. Mayor. I think if I'm not mistaken, having done that before, I think there is some budget authority for certain departments to spend within their proposed budget. I'm interested in hearing from council if that needs to be modified, but I think it stands for itself. The same question could be asked from the original proclamation. So,
Cathy, do we need more clarification around that?
Maybe.
Or is it outside of whatever would normally be?
I think what Don's just asking is to make sure that there's a second set of eyes on certain contracts. And I think that would be satisfactory to meet what he's trying to propose.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I could supplement my comment. I was the council member that met with the auditor in the entrance where they asked for liability comments and stuff. And because I had read the proclamation and this jumped out at me, I engaged the person, I don't remember his name, Gary, it's doing from the state auditor's office. And he said that the auditor probably would not make a finding if the proclamation was left as is, but he felt it was a real positive change in our proclamation. It's always better to have two sets of eyes on a significant purchase.
Yeah, I have zero problem whatsoever with it. So it has been moved by Chaney. Did someone second it?
Second.
Second.
All right. So it's been moved by Chaney and seconded to ratify the proclamation of civil emergency for COVID-19 signed by the mayor on March 18, 2020, with the modification noted by Councilmember Chaney. Any discussion? And we'll just go around again. Councilmember Hogan.
No more discussion.
Councilmember Carter.
Finance Committee had discussed that limit for the spending, and so that was one of the reasons why Councilmember Chaney brought that forward. No other further comments.
Councilmember Roberts.
No comments.
Councilmember Smith.
No comments.
Councilmember Burton.
No, my concerns are addressed by the motion from Councilmember Chaney.
Councilmember Chaney.
More, sir. Thanks.
All right. Councilmember Anderson.
No additional comments other than to say thank you, Councilmember Chaney.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the motion passes. Our next item is the closing of the purchase and sale agreement with earnest money provisions between the City of Camas and Joe Rose and Jerry Rose and Joe Hogard. Jerry, would you like to introduce this for the council?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to present the 54.45 acre acquisition from the Roses as part of the Legacy Lands project. All of the contingencies have been met, and we would ask council to approve a motion to move forward to closing with the title company.
Does the council have any questions? And then we'll go through again. Councilmember Hogan.
I do have comments. I'd like to thank the staff, Jerry Acheson, Cathy Nickerson, Steve Wall, Phil Borkwin, and the others for helping put this opportunity together. And I'd also like to thank the families that are involved in this whole property purchase along the side of the lake. It's going to be a wonderful park if we ever get around to approving it. The Booma family, the Dens family, the Hageroods, the Mills, the Roses. Wow. And I'd also like to thank the Camas-Washougal Wildlife League and the Clark County Wild Conservation Fund for contributing money to this too. It's going to allow us to have a beautiful hillside that is viewed from the other side of the lake. It'll keep the trees there, and the wildlife corridor will remain as it is, and access will be available for the whole community. And we're considering this area as a recreation area for all citizens. So by the way this is going to be paid for is real estate excise tax and impact fees moving forward. So thank you for the whole group of putting this thing together. This will not come out of citizens' taxes that they pay. Thank you. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Carter.
I think Councilmember Hogan said it very well. So I will add no more.
Councilmember Roberts.
I just wanted to thank Jerry for all the hard work that he's put in over the years. This is not a 1 or 2 year project. This is a multiple year project, multiple blood, sweat, and tears. And I appreciate the effort, the marketing effort in reaching out to the public that he's done as well, he and his staff and team. And I think we will reap the benefits in the future. So thank you, Jerry.
Councilmember Smith.
No, this is a great project that has been in the work for years. It's been part of our vision. And I'm just grateful that we have this opportunity, even though, you know, times are different. But again, this isn't taxpayer money, so this is a good investment.
Councilmember Chaney.
Well, Mr. Mayor, a couple of things occur to me. We thanked a lot of people, and there's no question I second that. This is a historical event, and I know that some are opposed to it adamantly, but I also know that sometimes that's when history has made it its best. And so it's not that we're disregarding that advice, but I think this is really an important opportunity that we ought not miss. So much so that I think as we vote tonight, we're taking this action because it's a necessary and routine issue based on relevant authorities and the facts that we know today. So I strongly support this. And very importantly, I want to thank Shawn MacPherson. I know he's paid to do his job, but he doesn't have to do it as well as he does. He's a superior representative on our behalf when he's negotiating contracts like this and working out the complex details of that. Working with good people who have stepped up and have expressed their willingness to sell their property to the city for this legacy process. So with that, I'll leave. I just wanted to put emphasis on the fact that I do believe, and I hope by our vote it illustrates that this is a necessary and routine issue.
Thanks, Don. Councilmember Anderson.
Couple comments. One to Jerry, thank you for your career being dedicated to this for most of it. Secondly, everybody that Mr. Hogan represented in his comments, I support as well. I'll add to that Lloyd Halverson, Pete Capel, going back in time, prior mayors, other community leaders, the partnerships with the land trusts and the other state agencies that supported this, long and short term. I appreciate all of those efforts combined to get us to where we are today, and I support this measure.
All right, can I entertain a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to ratify the real estate purchase and sale agreement with earnest money provisions dated March 9th, 2020, between the City of Camas as purchaser and Joe Rose and Jerry Rose and Joe Hagerud, which includes a promissory note, and further authorize the mayor or designatee to execute all closing documents on behalf of the city.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Hogan and seconded to ratify the real estate purchase and sale agreement with earnest money provision dated March 9th, 2020, between the City of Camas as purchaser and Joe Rose and Jerry Rose, Parcel A, and Joe Hagerud, Parcel B, which includes a promissory note, and further authorize the mayor to designate to execute all closing documents on behalf of the city. Any discussion, and we'll go around again. Councilmember Hogan.
No.
Councilmember Carter.
No more.
Councilmember Roberts.
No further discussion. Thank you.
Councilmember Smith.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Burton.
I would just like to state this is a significant investment for today and the future. It's a very tough time to be making these sorts of calls. It's really hard. I'm hearing what our community is saying, both in support and also the concerns that I'm hearing from some, and yet I strongly support it because this is an investment in our quality of life, which is one of the most important reasons people come and stay in Camas. So thank you for all those that have contributed.
Thank you. Councilmember Chaney.
Nothing more, thank you.
Councilmember Anderson.
Nothing further, thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Sorry, any opposed? The motion passes. And then our final item is the closing of the purchase and sales agreement and earnest money provisions between the City of Camas and CJ Dens Lacamas One LLC. Jerry, would you like to introduce this for the council, please?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to present the 33-acre acquisition of the CJ Dens as part of the Legacy Lands project. All the contingencies have been met, and would ask council to approve a motion to move forward to closing with the title company.
All right. Does the council have any questions? And we'll go around again. Councilmember Hogan.
No, thank you.
All right. Councilmember Carter.
Nothing further, thank you.
Councilmember Roberts.
Nothing further, thank you.
Councilmember Smith.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Burton.
Nothing further, thank you.
Councilmember Chaney.
Only to link this with the previous action and state again, with our vote, we'll declare this as a necessary and routine action of the council.
And Councilmember Anderson.
Just repeating prior comments regarding the prior motion agreement. Everybody involved did a really good job getting us to this level. Thank you.
All right. So can I entertain a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to ratify the real estate purchase and sale agreement with earnest money provision dated January 15th, 2020 between the City of Camas as purchaser and C.J. Dens Lacamas, LLC as seller, and further authorize the mayor or designee to execute all closing documents on behalf of the city.
Second.
All right. It has been moved by Roberts and seconded to ratify the real estate purchase and sales agreement with earnest money provisions dated January 15th, 2020 between the City of Camas as purchaser and C.J. Dens Lacamas 1 LLC as seller, and further authorize the mayor or designee to execute all closing documents on behalf of the city. Any discussion? And we'll go around one last time here. Councilmember Hogan.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Carter.
Nothing further, thank you.
Councilmember Roberts.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Smith.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Burton.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Chaney.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Anderson.
Nothing, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes. We are now going to go back to the public comment section. So Bernie, if anyone would like to address the council, please indicate you would like to speak by raising your virtual hand and on the app or the phone, and wait for the clerk to activate your sound. Please start by stating your name and address for the record. You will have up to 3 minutes to speak. Bernie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here and I see some hands, so I will. We have Scott. Are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Scott McElhaney, 4227 Northwest Sage Loop here in Camas. First of all, I want to say thank you, and I'm really happy at the leadership that the council members and the mayor and the city have provided during this COVID crisis. I've kept on track of all the decisions that have been made. I think all the decisions that have been made have been great and positive, and I appreciate the leadership and being proactive. So I think thank you for that. And also want to say I completely support this purchase of this real estate. I think it's really a historic purchase for the city of Camas, and I think it's a deal even at half the price, or double the price, excuse me. So I thank you for your leadership and guidance in that. So thank you. Thanks for your time.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay. And we have Justin. Can you hear?
Yes, I can. Justin Lyons, 1323 Northwest 28th Ave. Just real quick, I wanted to say thank you for approving this purchase of the land. I know it's a big cost at kind of a dicey time for our city and, you know, for the world in general. But I feel it's something we need to jump on sooner than later before, you know, it gets scooped up and developed. Additionally, I would like to say, you know, once again, thank you for making this Zoom meeting available to the citizens. And I look forward to hopefully you guys continuing this even after the in-person meetings resume. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
All right. And then we have Scott McElhaney.
You just had Scott.
Oh, I just had him. Okay, okay.
That's Kimball Logan.
Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, Kimball.
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you on what I personally view as a great decision. But the question was about if you're overpaying for it. And the Rose property in particular, because I'm in the real estate business and know about it, has been in escrow with several major buyers. And usually, and often a couple of times, the price is higher than you're paying for it. And always with some people that wanted to go forward, and usually Rose was the one that backed out. So not only should you be congratulated on making a purchase of a priceless piece of ground, but somebody was pretty adept at getting through all the processes with Joe. And you all should be very proud of yourself. And 20 years from now, nobody will ever criticize anybody for doing what you've done on the north side of the lake for the public and not for the private people. So thank you. And as usual, you've got a long-term view that's good.
Thank you.
Okay, Randall, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Randall Friedman, 1187 Northwest 10th in Camas. While I'm happy that you purchased the properties for the long-term value, I need to express some disappointment that someone in the public can ask some basic questions of the city attorney about the wholesomeness of the upcoming North Shore planning process and not get a basic answer. And to me, it suggests that there truly may not be a point to participate in it, that decisions really have been made and no one was willing to publicly say tonight that it is an open, or I should say the city attorney was not asked and was not willing to state that in fact it's an open book, it's an open canvas for the North Shore. So I'm happy that you did that, but I must say I'm disappointed, and you wonder why sometimes people wonder about participating in government. This is an example. So thank you.
When it comes to the North Shore, that's not property that we necessarily own. That's there. It is privately owned property. And when it comes to the North Shore planning, we're just looking at the zoning, not necessarily building anything other than putting the zoning requirements or the zoning that we want in that area. But I'm not sure if I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
Okay. Brent? Brent, are you there?
Yeah, I just unmuted myself. Brent Smithline, 3443 Northwest 60th Avenue. And basically the family's been here since the territory opened. So little background in the area, all over the county. Want to show basically show my appreciation for going forward with this plan. Anybody who's familiar with the Portland metropolitan area, if they know the history of Forest Park, it's the world's largest metropolitan area park. And it was going to be totally developed on that side of the hill. So I feel this is pretty much the same way. I think it's forward looking, as I've seen much of this county developed, because I can remember when the city of Vancouver was 29,000 people. So shall we say, things have changed a lot during my lifetime. And again, I want to thank the council for moving forward with this project.
Thank you. Okay, and we have Phil. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Phil Williams, 936 Northeast 41st. So my, just my neighbor Randall just asked the city attorney to answer a question, and then Mayor McDonnell said he didn't understand the question. So I'd say maybe we ask the attorney, Mr. Mayor, on your say. You can address that after, hopefully, or just blow by it like a lot of this, unfortunately. At this point, you've all said that you support this project. You also said you heard citizens speak tonight, but I'll repeat myself because I don't feel sincerity in that statement, unfortunately. My opening statement said, I didn't come here today to ask this council and this mayor if, I want to really stand hard on that word if, these purchases are valid. I was here today to ask how we can possibly consider them now. In this reality, while neighbors are sick and dying. You're all on the record for this moment. But again, it seems to lack any examination of the reality of today. You're talking about matters for another day. I'd love a park. I'd love to preserve lands. I love our lake. These are meaningless in the context of today. I'm going to finish once again with the words of the Surgeon General of the United States that I started this with. Please listen. Please. I don't know that you heard me the first time. The Surgeon General of the United States said of this week that we're currently entering, this is a quote, this is going to be our Pearl Harbor, our 9/11 moment, only it's going to be localized. That is a 9/11 in your backyard across the country. That was outside the quote. That was my commentary. I apologize. It's going to be happening all over the country. And I want America to understand that. He finished, this is going to be the hardest and saddest week of most Americans' lives, quite frankly. I asked, what will Camas be doing with its time and money during that historically devastating moment? And tonight, Camas got its answer, unfortunately. That's the end of my comment. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Philip. And then I will follow with Randall as well as far as the question that he had sent in.
Okay. John Lee, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. I believe I'm unmuted. John Lee, 444 Northwest Fremont Street. I heard two different times tonight, quote, this isn't taxpayer money, unquote. That stuns me because no money you spend comes from anywhere other than taxpayers. Whether it's statewide taxpayers, federal taxpayers, county taxpayers, or Camas taxpayers, it all comes from taxpayers. A developer is still a taxpayer who passes along his increased costs to the taxpayers who buy the home. It's all taxpayer money, regardless of which bucket you put it in and how you label it. And so I strongly urge you not to describe it that way, and I wish you felt like every penny you spend is taxpayer money. I would like to remind our community that in January, during a time of very robust economic growth in our nation and in our state, Senator Ann Rivers at a town hall at the Port of Camas, Washougal, shared with our community that because of what happened in McCleary and the increased property taxes, the city of Camas had the largest number of citizens losing their homes due to increasing property tax. Right now, with rising unemployment, we probably have a very large, sad number of people who may be on the verge of losing their homes because they can't pay their property tax. It's horrific, and that's where our focus needs to be, is on those people not spending money and tightening our belt. Finally, I heard one council member say this is a necessary and routine issue. What is necessary is spending money for food, clothing, and shelter. Buying and adding lands to our park is not necessary, and spending $25 million of the taxpayer money is anything but routine. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we have someone with a number ending 3771.
Yes, that's Douglas Strabel.
Hi, Douglas.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
we can hear you.
Yeah, hi, this is Douglas Strabel, 4307 Northwest Oregon Street. I'm not giving any high fives and kudos to anybody tonight, except some of the people that called in pointing out the problems. And I want to firstly thank John Lay for the excellent work he did in posting the well-written commentary that was up on Clark County today. And that's the problem. The problem is everybody's ignoring the issue that's facing us later. The later is COVID-19, or whatever else you want to call it, will pass. It will go by 3 months, 6 months, next year. But the economic ramifications of what's gone on due to the issues with our federal government, the Fed, and the central bankers are what's going to kill us and our economy. And that is my concern, that Camas is going to sit here like deer in the headlights, hoping and wishing that people are going to keep coming in and buying more houses. Well, that ain't going to happen because 10 million people filed for unemployment in the last 2 weeks. That's 10 million. I don't know. I don't think anybody here wants to hear about great job numbers, the great stock market anymore, because that's gone. And it's not going to get fixed in 3 months or 6 months. So anyway, to that point, I sent a email to city council members and the mayor last Friday. I heard no response except from Councilmember Ellen Burton. Thanks for the response. But then I looked at the response. And the shocking part of the response is that you asked me questions that were answered in my proposal. And my proposal is to create a taxpayer-driven task force to reduce city expenses. That's all, nothing else. And to that effect, I've got some ideas on that, and I'll go over very quickly what I want to do. You had mentioned who's going to be on it, who's going to pick it, what's the agenda, et cetera, et cetera. That's the problem. This is not a time for bureaucracy. The city of Camas must take a private sector approach to solving financial problems that are going to bite them over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and outgoing. Way to approach it is,
Doug, you have 30 more seconds.
the city identifies a point of contact to work with the taxpayer task force. The task force will be composed of 2 or 3 of us, and we will self-vet. We will pick the best people we can find to help the city. The purpose of this is to cut expenses by reviewing the budgets. What gets spent for what, when, and where. What doesn't have to be spent, cut it off vigorously and quickly. And for all of you, read my email. If you don't like it, fine, comment back. But damn it, you owe us a response. Do I sound pissed? I am. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Doug, and your ideas.
Okay. Erica, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. We can hear you too.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Are you there? Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Hi, this is 639 Northwest Fremont Street. Councilman, just thank you for the value you've put into our city by the decisions you've made tonight that have been years in the making. Decisions are made side by side because one action doesn't result in another action always necessarily. Investing in our cities is an investment in my property value, which promotes business, which promotes money to schools. So thank you for your vision and supporting legacy lands for future Camas citizens.
Is that it? Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Okay, we have Heather?
Yep, I'm here. I just wanted to say it's been good to see all your faces and listen to the votes and the thoughts and such. And
Can we get your name and address for the record, please?
Yep. Heather Kesmodal, 1506 Northeast 6th Avenue. Just thank you again for tonight. I'm excited for the future, and a lot of unknowns right now, but a lot of knowns. And I love the idea that there is going to be some land that actually developers won't be able to obtain and cookie cutter and take down the trees and do what they've been doing on this side. So anyways, thank you for this evening, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Erica.
Okay, thank you. And then, let's see. Oh, Anastasia? Did you have a comment?
Can you
I
guys
got a
hear
comment.
me?
Who's watching the kids?
I just put one kid to bed. This is Anastasia McDonnell, 1425 Everett Street. I just wanted to thank the council and Jerry and Shawn and everyone who put this together for years. The legacy lands, we are excited about this. This is a gift to Camas for generations to come. And I want to thank you on behalf of my children and my children's children and all of us who are going to enjoy those spaces. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the department heads and Steve Hogan for supporting our mayor in his efforts over the last weeks to keep an open communication with our community through videos and lots of public outreach. Thank you so much for doing that, all of you, and for keeping the citizens of Camas informed in these weird times. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy.
Okay, I'm looking for more hands here. I'm going to, doesn't look like we have anyone else. We've gone through the list there. So we did, just as another FYI, we did receive video, excuse me, an audio comment on the city's voicemail that will also be circulated and entered into the meeting record.
All right. So that's it, Bernie? No other comments out there?
No other public comments.
So at this point, it seems that there's no other comments. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 8:20.